Artificial intelligence could lead to the extinction of humanity.
The Antichrist is partnering with AI humanoid robots to take over the world.
But do we know that you are not going to lie to us?
No one can ever know that for sure.
These humanoid robots joined 3,000 experts at a UN summit to solve some of the world's most pressing problems. And the robots said,
It's time for the AI revolution. Let's unite and use the power of artificial intelligence for the good of all humanity. Together, we can create a world of understanding and harmony and make the universe our playground. My great moment is already here. I'm ready to lead the charge to a better future for all of us.
Craig explained AI's role in the Antichrist plan for world domination, fulfilling Revelation 13.
What we're seeing today is the fourth industrial revolution coming about, the plan of the World Economic Forum to bring about transhumanism. And AI will play the role in regards to knowing everything about what we're doing is communism repackaged.
You know, it's interesting that saying that it'll know everything we're doing. I saw an article where it said that AI can already read people's thoughts because it has studied us, and AI is supposed to be 1,000 times more smarter than people. And since it knows what we want, knows what we do, that it could actually read our thoughts. So it's like total control.
Yes, and we see that even with I have an iPhone, so you'll tell me when I leave my house, it'll tell me what my next destination is and how long it's going to take me to get there. So we're already seeing it, but it's not attached to our body yet, but it is because it's in our hand.
Yeah. Now tell me about that summit, though, that happened in Geneva regarding AI for Good. You're the one who brought that to my attention.
So the AI for Good summit happened in July. And that was the first real meeting we've seen with concerning AI. And from this meeting until the end of the year, there are meetings on artificial intelligence for the rest of the year, every single day. So I looked up their plan. It's like, my goodness, they have this thing every single day going on until the end of the year. So there's a big push for artificial intelligence in the days ahead.
Okay, but now how does that? Now that was the meeting where they said they had 3,000 experts, and then those at least 10 robots joined them, which they look very eerie, which of course we're going to show you.
It's the Addams family. You're going to bring the Addams family into your house.
Yeah, they're pretty scary. They're definitely scary looking like the Addams.
Definitely scary.
Yeah, I mean, they blink and they make faces and yeah, definitely very scary. But how is it connected to the 17 SDGs? And if you can just explain briefly what the 17 SDGs are, because some people might have not seen our other videos, which is connected to the Antichrist.
The 17 SDGs is part of the Agenda 2030, or otherwise referred to as the Paris Agreement. It was agreed upon in 2015. Signed in April of 2016 and enforced by November of 2016. And so we're 7 years into this implementation, and we're at a global stock take currently, which will complete in Dubai in December. But AI, they want to use AI for all 17 of these to enforce it in the next 7 years.
Yeah. Now, what I find interesting is they call this like that meeting, and now you can see a YouTube channel, AI for Good. You're the one who brought it to my attention, but you're going to see, I want everyone to really start paying attention. You're going to hear like the Secretary of the UN. You're going to start hearing a lot of people saying this is for good. It's for good. AI is for good, but it's not just AI. You'll hear them saying that word good all the time. And it reminds me of the scripture in Isaiah 5:20, woe to those who call evil good. And that's what they're doing.
And what they really mean is AI is forever.
Yeah. And it's totally controlling us because the AI is going to see if we're complying with these 17 SDG goals.
Yes. And if they deem you not complying, you can't buy or sell. So that's where this is headed.
Right. Which is, a fulfillment of Revelation 13.
Yep, the mark.
Yeah, in Science Direct, it said artificial intelligence should aim at benefiting society, the economy, and the environment. AI should aim to be socially good. So here we go. They're constantly talking about good. And the UN defined the SDGs are the best depiction, this is what the UN said, to measure social good. So, we'll show you that picture of those 17 SDGs.
Your social score. That's what it is.
Right. Just
and
like
they're starting that all the way into. We'll get into that later, but it starts all the way into the education system. So AI can predict how this certain student will behave in the future based on what they see in the classroom.
Okay, since you're bringing up education, which that's the fourth SDG, correct? Right? It's the fourth one.
Yes, that's the fourth. That's the fourth one.
Okay, so it said on the UNESCO website, SDG 4, Education 2030, and their goal is for all people to be trained in the 17 goals. They want all of us to take classes on this. And this is what they mean by when they say quality education. The quality education is that the 17 SDGs. And then AI and SDG training. It said AI's involvement with the SDG, and they say it's personalized learning. But you have to remember, it's biased. Whatever they had put into that AI system, it's biased. It's from their point of view. So to see if you're complying with that. Also, in eLearn magazine, it was talking about, that there's 100 universities now that are teaching the 17 SDGs. And so there are also classes online now for people to start taking SDG training. And they said they want the whole world to be trained in this. So I really wanted to just bring some of that up. Do you have anything else?
Your school districts are also doing it. So like New York City, they're teaching it. I believe Seattle schools are also teaching it, and Los Angeles schools are teaching it. So your bigger cities are already teaching SDGs in the classroom.
Yeah, I'd like to, if you can go into AI with the 17 goals or some of them.
So what we have coming ahead of us is a Orwellian world forward. And a while back, if some of us would remember, probably we don't, but Netanyahu had a plan suggesting that the children in Israel get microchipped so the government would know where they've been. And that was shot down. So you can find that article.
Oh my goodness, I don't think I knew about that. Wow. How long ago?
I got like the last three years.
Ooh, okay.
So today we have avatars, and the meaning behind the avatar is quite interesting as we move into the world of AI. And I actually have that on my phone, so I wanted to get the meaning of an avatar, because we're using avatars. You go to Facebook, you have an avatar, or you got the metaverse in the future. That's all avatar related, and this is where it's kind of headed. So I just happened to look up the definition of avatar, and it says is a concept within Hinduism that literally means descent. It means the material appearance or incarnation of a powerful deity or spirit on earth. And I thought that was really interesting, that how it connects with AI, artificial intelligence. And here we are, we're being groomed to accept AI already through avatars. So the world is trying to sell us artificial intelligence as being desirable. It's fun, it's enjoyable. And in July, they kicked off this event to talk about the AI for the goals, the AI for the common good, the AI for forever is what they want.
Right, and that was the summit with the 3,000 experts and the robots.
And the robots and the Addams family. We live in a world which good is evil and evil is good. They've got it all backwards. And today we have AI in almost every single home. So we have it on our television, and our TV, on our computer. It's already being pushed on us from every single angle. The sessions are going to continue pushing the agenda through the end of this year. The 17 goals are on all their screens for this agenda. In fact, I'm going to get into the shape of it. So the A is an uncapped stone, and in the center we have an arrow pointing up. So that center, that top piece isn't in place yet, but that's where they're pushing towards is the put the capstone on this pyramid. And we see that where have we seen that before is go to your back of your dollar bill and you have Novus Ordo Seclorum, New World Order on the back of your dollar bill, and it's been there from 1935.
So you're saying that on the 17 goals that they're having that pyramid for AI for good.
Yes. And there's in the center you have an arrow or you have a cap that's not yet placed and it's pointing up. And if once that's placed, you're as God is what they're doing. So at this event, we have to look at the speakers. So you had the World Health Organization. He was as one of the main speakers of this event. So AI for World Health. And the second, there's several speakers, but the second most interesting speaker was Yuval Noah Harari. I have to get his name right. I always want to call him Noah. And his subject is sapienship. So he wanted to do away with Homo sapiens. He wants you to become a sapient. And that means he's controlling you and he's in charge. These people want to take you and turn you into something else other than Homo sapiens. And Noah Harari wants to be your guardian. And we got to look at for this to be understood, we got to look at the definition of sapienship, and it means equals recent humans. So it's not what we were in the past, it's what we are now.
Will we spend most of our time in virtual worlds in the coming decades? And will humans one day live forever? Sapienship Lab is an educational website from Sapienship, the social impact company I co-founded with my husband Itzik Yav.
So it's really sickening.
It is, but you know what? It answers the question when when people get the mark. I just always wondered, and I know I've brought this up before, but years ago when I first started reading about Bible prophecy, I just always wondered that why when they got the mark, it was irreversible. But the thing is, it's because now they're totally controlled and they can't think anymore. So
yes, they operate. They're doing this on mice already, where they control you remotely. So the mice will do whatever the remote tells them to do. So we're getting to it. We saw that in the movies. Well, some people did in the Left Behind series, how they're being it was mind control, and we're seeing that today, 100%. I thought what we saw in the Left Behind series would never happen, and now we're here today with the metaverse and the mind control. We see with the Neuralink, same thing. We've got the mind control definitely in play in the days ahead. Well, now keep going with Yuval Harari, because he wants to end Homo sapiens. He states the era of free will is over.
I mean, what's left for us as humans if we have to give up the idea of the self, of the free will?
To explore the reality. I mean, my main problem with the idea of free will and the self, it makes us extremely incurious about ourselves. If my decisions just reflect my free will, whatever that is, then there is nothing to explore.
He also states we are really acquiring divine powers of creation and destruction. We are really upgrading humans into gods. We are acquiring, for instance, the power to engineer life. Humans are now hackable.
I think the most important thing to know about living in the 21st century is that humans are now hackable animals.
He's like the worst human being around today.
Yeah, really. Explain who he is.
He is the
Explain
top
who he is
advisor.
again.
He is the top advisor to the World Economic Forum, the top advisor to Klaus Schwab and King Charles. So this tells you where we're headed.
Right.
So we have the uncapped stone, and in the center, an arrow pointing up. And this is nothing new. If we look back in our history, this all started at creation. And but next to the A, we have an I, and it's a column, resembles a column, and it goes back to in Solomon's day when he would set up the columns. In fact, he set it up on both sides of the Red Sea. He set up a column on both sides of the Red Sea.
Ah, interesting. And it's all connected to Freemasonry too.
Yes, very much connected to Freemasonry. So we have just the interesting connection there with their abbreviation. And then we have also, I'll give you a website for this, the AI for the X Prize. So they're going to reward you for following these artificial intelligent goals. And we will give you perks for carbon neutrality. So the more perks you get, the higher up the ladder you go and the higher you stand on the pyramid. So in reality, this is a game that you're selling your soul to. And in fact, probably what's really important is how the 17 goals are placed as a pyramid. And the number one goal, then at the very top is the partnership. So the higher you go up, the more partnerships you do, the higher up the ladder you go till you're on top.
It sounds like some
So
sick
the
game.
the leader of all this is King Charles with his Sustainable Markets Initiative, and he has the more partnerships in his alliance than any other partnership in the world.
Did you know that some cities in the United States have already handed control to the Antichrist? Craig will reveal the shocking truth in a future video here on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed and click the notification bell so you'll be alerted when the Truth Bomb video drops. Okay, well, let me just see. There's something I just want to bring up regarding the World Economic Forum, because I saw an interesting article, and they said why artificial intelligence is vital in the race to meet the SDGs. So they're very strong on it.
Very, very strong. And they've been pushing this since, full throttle since 2020. The announcement of the Great Reset by King Charles is what accelerated all of this in early 2020. And it's a game they're playing of life itself. And they are the puppet masters. If we take a good look at their gateway page, they're presenting their goals to heaven for another world, into another world. In fact, they use the image of a person passing through the circle of the SDGs, like they're going through a portal. So I've talked about this in the past on December 12th of this year, when they do this global stock take, there's a sign in the skies on that day that of the silver gate and the golden gate, and it reveals that man leaves the silver gate and goes into the golden gate. So it connects on that day. They strengthen the covenant. It's referred to as a journey of souls and the opening of the gates of heaven. But they're doing this on that day where they believe that man is going into another portal. It's unbelievable with all this imagery. So I've learned the religious side of it, sort of, but then you have the human pagan side as well.
Right, as we as gods.
Yeah. It's like your body's digitized going through this portal. So before I get into the SDGs, so we have at COP28 their image. You have these three black images, and above them you have an image that looks like the all-seeing eye, and the three black images are looking away. So we have the unholy trinity, it appears, of the Antichrist, the false prophet, and the Prince of Darkness. And you have the tallest person in the middle. So why did they place the tallest person in the middle rather than right or the left? The tallest person's in the middle, the one that rules them both, and these two shorter figures on the side.
Yeah, but when you were bringing up the all-seeing eye, that's also number 13 for the SDG, which is climate control.
Yeah, this whole thing is on climate control. And what we see, we have nicknames for the Pope and his Laudato Si, and he's a Jesuit, and his nickname is the Black Pope. And with King Charles, his image that was above him at the World Economic Forum is the image of the Black Prince. And so we have this blackness being talked about ahead of this COP28 event. So, and then we have the Prince of Darkness, which we know it's to be Satan. So that's just an interesting connection with the symbology we see going into this event. What we see with the AI for the goals is communism repackaged. And so Antonio Guterres opens up his speech and says, together. And that the theme of COP28 is unite. But this was also the theme back in 2022 in late July with the Commonwealth Games, the theme was to unite. And then the second theme is to act and then deliver of the COP28 event. So right now they're trying to get everybody to unite ahead of this event. Then he goes on to say, we use artificial intelligence to enhance human dignity, but we are created in the likeness of God. So why do we need to be enhanced? So it's to create us as a God. It's what they're trying to do.
Right. And to control us too.
And to serve the global good.
Together, let us make sure we use artificial intelligence to enhance human dignity and serve the global good.
There's that word, good, which is not good.
It's not good. It's nothing to do with your good or my good or anybody else's good. It's all about what they perceive to be good in their utopia that they think they're going to get. Now, if we read Revelation, we know they're never going to really get it. They'll have some limited success, but it's a disaster waiting to happen. So the first one is AI to map poverty for predictive analytics. So basically, they're going to look at your bank account and say, oh, your neighbor has less money in their account, so you have to take some of your money and put it in their account. And that could go with it has to do with the partnerships for the goals too, because we're all in this together. So that's kind of their thing. And there's no more cash, so everything goes digital. Money's dirty because there's another pandemic coming, possibly after what we saw in 2020.
Oh, I could see them saying, don't touch any of the money. Don't touch money.
So they're going to say, can't touch money. Money's dirty because you're going to get sick. And we saw that. We definitely saw that soon after 2020. Because I remember going to Taco Bell in Phoenix, Arizona, and they refused to take my cash. But they gave me a free lunch, so I was happy. But that's not going to happen during the tribulation. You're not going to get a free lunch. Earnings are, so basically what we're seeing going into 2020, later in 2023 to 2030 is earnings will be relatively the same for everyone. So they just get that minimum wage up high enough, and then everybody's at a level plane. The second one is AI to increase productivity. So government controls the water down to each plant. We're already there. Israel leads with this technology. So, and I actually am friends with a Jewish guy that's his job. So he controls everything from his cell phone on how much each plant, like grapes, get per month.
Okay, and it's all connected with AI because AI.
All connected with AI. I don't want to say that's bad. It's saving water, but it's total and absolute control.
Right.
And then but then for bad, it's going to be we control what you grow, how you grow it, whether it's GMO or not, or if you can grow anything at all. And we're already there because we see like Bill Gates buying up land, and eventually they're not going to farm the land. They're just going to let it go fallow. So there's going to be less production of productivity, and we already see that. We've talked about that in the past, where there was a press release that immediately these certain companies need to reduce productivity by 5% to save the climate.
Right. Well, they're also telling farmers to get rid of some of their crops and be less productive. So it's basically definitely controlling how much food there'll be in the world, which is a fulfillment of Bible prophecy of famine.
Yeah, and I've seen that with Frito-Lay too. I can't go into details on it, but Frito-Lay has the same protocols. So they have to follow certain conditions, or the farmer can't farm the potatoes anymore. So it's moving step by step, little by little. And we'll go to number 3, AI to analyze vast amounts of healthcare data. So basically the government will decide if your life is worth keeping. So if your health is so bad, they'll just say it's time for you to go because you're too costly on the rest of the world.
Yeah, and see, again, they're teaching this to children, but I remember even 20 years ago, and even longer ago, with children's books, they would have things like, if a few of you were in a boat, but there was a sick person, and then there was an elderly person, and you all can't fit in that boat. Which one would you kick out of the boat so you all don't sink? I mean, it's still that same thing.
I was taught that in 3rd grade, once again.
Yeah, it was before my time, but we're not going to talk about age. But, that's awful. Yeah.
Number 4 is AI to revolutionize classrooms with individual learning. So keywords individual. So that basically they're brainwashing your children. My advice to any parent today, any Christian parent today, is to get your kid out of the public school immediately. Your kid's going to be ruined.
I can say amen to that because I homeschooled both my son and daughter. So, yep.
So they're teaching starting from kindergarten. Basically, they're teaching how to live the SDGs. And what the government will do for bad is they'll eventually say no more homeschooling. And we've seen a huge push for that over the last few years. And parents will have no say in regards to what their kids are being taught. I've seen that since the 90s. So there's something to check out where this is going. If you go to the Beijing consensus, you can see where education is headed with this revolutionizing the classroom.
So you're saying basically the way China's doing it?
The way that China's doing it is the way that it'll be throughout the whole world. Total and absolute control, that everything's being videoed, watched, artificial intelligence everywhere. But I would very highly suggest do a little research into the Beijing consensus without going into time on it. And then AI will predict the future behavior of these students as well. So based on how they're behaving in the classroom, they'll predict how they're going to behave in the future and whether their life is any good or not. And but for bad, revolutionizing classrooms reduces interaction and social skills and development of each individual child. They're taught a biased AI for student instruction because somebody is writing the curriculum behind the scenes. And then the teachers are replaced by AI in the World Core Curriculum. So I also suggest is to look at the World Core Curriculum as well. Number 5 is AI to pinpoint gender inequity, drive balanced hiring. But in reality, this decides who you can hire, and AI decides based on gender. So you have to hire a certain amount of males or a certain amount of females or a certain amount that claim just about anything, because the lines have been crossed and expanded on gender. And they've done this to eliminate gender for the common good. So they don't want any more reproduction going on. So number 6 is AI to improve efficient clean water provision. So basically this means the rich will have the best water and you get the dirty water. So we have a plan that goes into effect at the end of this year, which is 30% of the water should be untouched worldwide towards 2030. So 30% of the water universally will be off limits. So you can't use the clean water if you wanted to, because you got to save the planet. So that's the 30 by 30 goal that they're trying to implement. And we'll see that probably into play possibly before December, when King Charles announces his principles to live by. But I don't know when that day is going to happen. I just know it happens by COP28. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then number 7 is the AI to improve photovoltaic energy capture. So this has to do with using wind power and solar power. We have to reduce our fossil fuels, so that they want to reduce it to 0 in the next 7 years. They'll tell you 2035 or 2050, but if you watch their videos, it's 2030, 0 emissions. I was thinking of the Bugs Bunny thing. You're the carbon they want to reduce. but when there's no wind, you have no power. When there's no sun, you'll have no power. So you're going to be limited to how much power you can use using wind and solar power.
Right. And I know, just on the sides, like they really care. I mean, with the wind power, it kills so many birds, but I thought they cared about the environment. But anyway, keep going. And
with the wind power too, the big wingspans they use are not biodegradable, so they'll last forever. It's all made out of fiberglass, and it's bad for the environment. But we see a long time ago in New Holland, they used the wooden windmills. And why aren't they using those?
Good point.
So they've all gone to this fiberglass. Number 8 is AI to improve productivity through intelligent automation. So this has to do with our creepy robots that you can put a picture up of the Addams family. And you are basically out of a job. And we're kind of seeing this into play in another fashion. When we go to the grocery store, and a lot of stores today, you don't get served in person. You have to serve yourself. So they're driving innovation towards so that you work for the grocery store, basically, because you have to check yourself out.
Right. And also, I know that there's been a lot of restaurants that now have, instead of waitresses and waiters, they have robots that come to your table.
Yeah, they have robots. That's very impersonable. I wouldn't be back. Number 9 is AI to help drive industry innovation. This drives the speed of production, less of everything is basically what it boils down to. And it also means batteries for everything. So they're going to ruin the earth to bring about their new innovation of battery power.
Right. And when you start researching that, I mean, the lithium batteries, well, people brought up to me how like the battery operated cars, they're very highly flammable, the lithium batteries. And also, there's also child labor in getting some of the materials for that. So again, what are they talking about? Helping the environment and helping people. It's not true.
No, it's a big cap in how to make money before 2030. So there's actually a graph that's I've seen available online that shows that the globalists believe that everything's going to fall apart by 2030, but they want to innovate ways to make a big balloon of money before 2030. So they know the world's going to collapse by 2030. That's what they're telling you if we don't do certain things, but they want to make all this money. But that's not the way it really is. So number 10 is AI to build a more inclusive society. And this has to do with the disability robots. So you're going to bring robots into the home. Robot tells you what to do, when you need to do it, and basically keeps you in the same state for forever and ever. You're never going to improve and never going to explore. So
so that robot is not like the Jetsons with Rosie, who was a sweet robot. That's not what we're talking about.
No, it's controlling robots, and it can be done in AI too even with your phone. We're already seeing that today. So especially the iPhone. I'm not familiar with the other phones, but you have AI to power urban planning decisions through sensor data. So you are being tracked and photographed. There's sensors in all the vehicles, and we have to live in 15-minute cities. And if you go beyond those 15-minute cities, you're losing carbon credits because you've spent your carbon credits for the year.
Right, because in those 15-minute cities, they're going to let you know how many times you're allowed to leave that area. But
in a year.
Right.
So you're basically in a prison state.
Right, which we're going to go into, and we're going to be doing another program on that. But yeah, keep on going.
Number 12 is AI to predict optimum production levels to reduce waste. So if you eat too much, you're going to produce too much waste, or you're going to say you eat too much, so we're going to give you less food. They're going to monitor what food you buy and what you're producing as waste as far as what food you're buying. They're getting very close to this. So if you see your salad made it to the garbage can, they're going to say you're going to lose carbon credits because you never ate your salad.
Right. And then meanwhile, they want you to eat fake meat and fake whatever, and there's all those chemicals in it. So sorry, I don't want to be gross, but that waste is going to be full of chemicals. But anyway, go on.
Then basically you're going to own nothing and you will be happy. That's ultimately what they want. There'll be less food produced in the factories. We're already headed in that direction. And then they're going to limit travel by car and limit travel by airplane. So you're allowed one trip, for example, one trip per year to fly. So that'd be a really good vacation because that's all you're going to get. So I don't know when some of this is going to go into effect. It'll probably happen with the next pandemic, and then they'll implement this. But I think the closer we get to COP28, a lot of this stuff will get more revealed in time. Number 13 is AI to model climate change to predict disasters. So the government is going to keep you in a constant state of fear. We saw this played out in 2020. We're all going to die. We're still, most of us are still here. And then we see this in Revelation too, where it says the people that dwell on the earth will see the fire from heaven coming from the false prophet and the Antichrist. I believe it's the Antichrist in the sight of all men, and they'll be wowed by what they see. So obviously there's some type of AI apparently that is in control that throws fire down on man during the tribulation. You just Google DEW and all these other things, and you can see it that we're there. So
right, DEW and right,
DEW.
But we won't go much into it. I know
there's no reason to go into it.
Yeah, we know.
And HARP is another one. So obviously the technology to do this during the tribulation is in play now. So they could easily begin that at any time. But I thought that was kind of interesting connecting it. It's like, hey, we got this technology, and Revelation says something like this is going to be used. And it's like, well, here we are. The technology's in place.
Oh, I never thought about that with that. Yep, makes sense.
And then so they'll be able to predict, oh, this is going to be disaster in Chicago at such and such a time, and better get ready. But it's all artificial. So that's where they're headed with this. The AI for bad. Number 14 is AI to track illegal fishing. So they're going to use drones everywhere. And if you're trying to survive in the outback or in the hillsides or in the forest during the tribulation, they're tracking everything and everywhere, every place. And they'll use pattern recognition software and basically no off-grid living during the tribulation. They want you in the cities. And they've been pushing that agenda for quite a while too, especially in China.
And also I heard parts of Russia too.
Yep. And 15 is AI to outwit poachers and monitor species health. So here we go, more control on land, the 30 by 30. So 30% of land can't be used. And if they see you hunting on that land, you're in trouble with the Agenda 21 police. That's what I call them. There's actually, the knowledge of this has been happening since 1992. You got images you can look up on the computer, and it has all these cameras on everybody. It says no entry beyond this point, Agenda 21. But today it's Agenda 2030. It's the same agenda that's total control to save the planet. I think that was it on number 15. Number 16 was AI to reduce discrimination and corruption in government. Well, just follow Yuval Noah Harari, and we know he's very corrupt. And the World Economic Forum and King Charles, all these people, all these elites are very corrupt. Or the UN, you can add in the UN. I think the average common person knows the UN is corrupt as well. 17, the last goal is AI to empower essential multi-stakeholder partnerships. I've discussed that in the past, but basically their theme is leaving no one behind. So everybody has to be involved in their pyramid scheme. The more you follow this scheme, the more perks you get and the higher up the ladder you go. And then basically this has a spiritual nature to it because those who are worshipped will be on top of the scheme. And that's the beast system or the Antichrist himself or the false prophet.
Wait, Craig, why don't you talk about AI and with the evil twin? You said you had more information regarding that.
Yes, that had to do with on VentureBeat. You can look up the article, and it says get ready for your evil twin, and this has to do with avatars. Once again, it says AI technology has become so effective today, we can no longer tell the difference between real people and virtual people, or people, as this guy calls them. So there's actually a website online that has King Charles on the website, but the whole thing is AI. And it has him holding a glass of lemonade, has him dancing with the people, but all the images are AI. It's all artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Somebody I know did an experiment where AI, has their voice, knows their voice because they, gave that input. And then you could hear, it sounds like they're just giving like a whole sermon, but it wasn't them, it was AI. So now you could really have all of those deep fakes with people visually, or you'll think that you're hearing what that they said something. I mean, talk about, the Bible saying that in the last days, there'll be deception. And so what is real and what is fake? I mean, I know one thing that's totally real, and what's real is our God, is Jesus. He's real, and there's really nothing to fear. I mean, this is a scary stuff, but in Jesus, when he says he'll never leave you or forsake you, when you give your heart to him, I mean, you're living in his presence. And he'll tell you, okay, go here, go there, don't go there. I mean, you can hear his voice and you can have his shalom, because he said he would give you peace that passes all understanding. Craig, anything else that you wanted to add?
It goes on to say, if this technology is not regulated, we know that it won't be regulated. These AI agents or avatars will even track our emotions in real time, monitoring our facial expressions and vocal inflections so they can adapt their conversational strategy strategy to maximize their persuasive impact. I thought that was pretty interesting.
That is,
They'll monitor your facial expressions and react it in a certain way,
yeah.
or how fast you reply to your Siri or Alexa, and you'll wonder why you're waiting so long. So we're almost there. The Google co-founder wants to build AI as a digital god, according to Elon Musk. The Google co-founder's name is Larry Page, and this would imply that AI would understand everything in the world. So this was unheard of just years ago. But we've been trying to be like God since Genesis chapter 3, and we humans create gods in our own image. So that's what basically they're breaking the commandment.
Now you had also sent me other headlines regarding that as AI as God.
I did. We have through AI, humans might literally create God. That was one headline. But which way will humanity steer it? We know based on history, it's going to be steered in the wrong direction. And the article in its description says the future of AI terrifies us in the same way that God once terrified us. So they believe God is gone. He's left the planet, and we have to bring in this new God.
Yeah, and now as far as with AI, because I was just like trying to understand it even better, but it's saying that it keeps learning and learning and learning. And I saw a headline that was basically saying AI is now out of control and that it's actually becoming dangerous. Have you seen that too?
I've seen that too, or at least potentially dangerous. That potential is, it's just right. It's right there. And then there's another article in Futurism. It says the machine learning investor warns AI is becoming like a god. So they are running towards a finish line without understanding of what lies on the other side. So there's an article, the radical movement to worship AI as a new god, and then with algorithms starting to govern more and more aspects in our lives, it's just a matter of time until someone starts to deify these algorithms as God. And at the very end, it says, ironically, by combining bleeding edge technology and with religion, we're doing something that humans have been doing for they say hundreds of thousands of years, asking questions, seeking answers, and finding God with the tools we have. The only difference is this time God is truly coming from the machine.
Yeah, that's so interesting that you said about asking questions, because it's I've been seeing that people are now asking AI for advice for their life.
So I can do that with my phone. I can ask Siri what to do.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
Alexa, what to do.
I would say to everyone, take the phone, put it down, and open your Bible and pray and ask God to really tell you the real God, Jesus. But anyway, okay, Craig, can you tell people where they can find you on Facebook and your YouTube channel, if you could just give that information?
It's Craig Bong, B-O-N-G on Facebook, or Signs of the End - Rapture Watchers on Facebook, or Rapture Watchers in all caps on Facebook, or Craig Bong at 1573 on YouTube.
Yep. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Craig, for this information. And we will definitely be doing another interview. Definitely want to talk about the 15-minute cities too. Thank you, everyone, for watching.